15 years.
So, how many of these guys, like, you would have voted for Matt, I guess?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Didn't expect this?
No, that's for sure. Matt Brown and the Union Busters.
Well, so you're calling council?
That's what they are, yeah. And we're going to
I can use that, Dave.
We're going to see to it that we will never forget, and we're cleaning house next election.
It's day 32 of the strike by 750 inside workers, and at this point it's hard for me to not imagine we're going to be back here on day 62 and maybe even beyond that, with both sides, that's the union and city management, dug in. Of course, that may be a bit of a misnomer because you had two sides that were squaring off, and the question was who was going to blink first. Well, the union has sort of blinked. The union has moved off its no concession stand and has accepted, or has shown a willingness to accept what I think are concessions, specifically expanded hours of work during the week. Now they work 8:30 to 4:30. They say they'll work 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. What City Hall really wants is them to work on weekends. The union's still not willing to do that. Worth noting, of course, that there are some strings attached to those concessions offered by the union. For example, if they're going to work one of those new hours on a weekday, they want a $1.20 shift premium per hour. And of course, then you get to wages. What the city offered was pay increases of 1%, 1%, 1%, and 1.1%. The union now wants exactly what their brothers and sisters at Hamilton City Hall received a couple of weeks ago, which is 1.5%, 2, 2, and 2. So what you're looking at is the difference between the city's offer, 4.1% over 4 years, and the union's counteroffer, 7.5% over 4 years. That's a massive difference. It's a huge gulf between the two sides, and it seems that the union remains resolved to keep fighting this battle. Although if you talk to people on the picket line, as I have, you get a sense of a few different emotions. There's fear. Any gains they're going to make in this next contract have already been lost by the wages they've lost. They're now in the process of missing out on their third straight paycheck. So there's fear. There's resolve. One woman told me that pasta costs 77 cents a bag. I can live off that for as long as I need to. And I think there's a sense of anger too. There's a real feeling of a mean-spiritedness in the approach of city management to these negotiations. I'm imparting to you the impression that I'm getting from these union workers. So when this strike does eventually end, one must wonder what sort of hangovers they're going to be when you've got Art Zudema, other members of his office, other senior management working side by each with these inside workers, because these are the people who fill their offices. It may be many, many years before those hard feelings soften. Now, we've had this conversation and we haven't even yet gotten to the political side of things, where city councilors still not saying a word, deferring to Matt Brown as their spokesperson. The hiring of replacement workers, or scabs as union types will call them, I think it's about 24 replacement workers have been hired, has ratcheted up the tension, made the whole situation a little more toxic. Also worth noting that the notion that 20 pickets have crossed the picket line and gone back to work, I think is a bit misleading. The vast majority of those were co-op students from Fanshawe College. What I've been told is that just one member of CUPE 101 has actually crossed the picket line and gone back to work. So where does this leave us now? Well, City Council meets Thursday night. It'll be interesting to see if the labor leaders from other organizations who have pledged to, quote, raise hell with the politicians will attend that debate. But as it stands at this point, no talks scheduled, no sense of a break in the impasse, and from my perspective, we're looking at a long, hot summer strike. I spoke recently with one longtime municipal leader who suggested that CUPE 101, the inside workers, are boxed in. Hard for that person to see them gaining any traction as the strike wears on, keeping in mind, of course, that the city's saving $1 million a week while this is going on, and the ticky-tacky services that most Londoners rely on every day are largely unaffected. But is that the goal? Is the goal to crush the union? This person said that that's the opposite of the goal. What you need to find is an elegant out for both sides, where it's not we win, you lose, or you win, we lose, but rather this strike's over and we both save a little bit of dignity. And in the long term, that can go a long way toward healing the wounds and helping the union and management work together again and forget that this had happened. For Post Media Network, I'm Patrick Maloney.